Yo, this is Josh. I'm gonna teach y'all how to paint portraits quickly and efficiently. So let's get to it. Alright, so this is gonna be our reference image. And although it may look like a lot of color, what you want to do is that you want to break this down into its most simplified shapes. So you can know where to put your darkest and lightest values at, and also your midtones. So this is how the image is going to look broken down. So you see the shadow shapes, the overall shape of the beard, the overall shape of the hat, and the shadow shapes of the hat. This is how you want to train your eyes to see reference images that you're painting from, because it will make your life a lot easier. So what I did here was remove the reference image from under the red lines. And with these lines alone, you could already see the silhouette of the man. And now, even when I add only one value to this image, you can still see depth being added. So now I'm just gonna add in my base tone layer for the skin. You don't want to make this initial layer of paint too dark or too light. It's just a mid-tone. And then for the shadows, what you want to do is that you want to pick a more saturated, more dark version of the initial skin tone you pick. And you want to make sure to saturate this a little bit more because you don't want your colors coming out muddy. And also notice how my sketch isn't too detailed, because I don't want to get caught up in the details at the beginning. Rather, I just want to work with the biggest shapes that I see in the reference image. And then as the painting goes on, I'll add in more detail. Now, if you pay attention closely to the reference image, there are some greenish tones that is on the man's skin because of the lighting that he's under. So I'm going to be sure to add some of these green tones in my own painting. And you're going to notice that in a bit, for the eyes, I just add in 2 brown dents. Because as I said in the beginning of the video, you want to think of a painting in the same way that a sculptor thinks of a sculpture. You want to imagine you painting as you carving out the details of a person's face slowly but surely. And that's why instead of drawing the details of the eyes first, I'm just gonna more so paint 2 dents for the eye sockets, and then later on I'm gonna add in more detail for the eyeballs. And contrary to what some people think, you don't need 50 Procreate brushes. You don't need to go out and buy a bunch of digital brushes. I'm just using one brush, and that's the default acrylic paint brush that Procreate gives you for free. And the reason why I like this brush is because it has some texture to it, and it almost resembles an actual acrylic painting brush. It's not about the material itself. It's just more so the person who's using the material. You should be able to make good art with a limited amount of resources. And now I'm gonna pause right about here. This stage right here is what some people refer to as the ugly stage, but I don't see it that way, because your eyes should be trained enough to see that right about at this time of the painting, that's when the form is starting to show the face. Even though not all the detail is added in yet, you should still be able to see that at this point of the painting, I've captured the major planes of the face in order to show depth and light. If you've enjoyed this video so far, I would appreciate it if you subscribed, left a like, and if you even know someone who would benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. Now, let's get back to this painting. And now, since most of those bigger shapes are already blocked in, I'm now gonna start making my brush smaller to add in some of those finer details, such as the eyelids, the eye bags, the lips, and the nostrils, and some of those strings of hair that are catching the light. Notice how areas with the most amount of blood flow, like the cheeks, the nose, and the lips, I made those a little bit closer to red than the rest of the skin. And for the highlights, at first I accidentally went too close to a yellowish orange look, and now it looks like he has a tan line from wearing sunglasses too much. So in order to get rid of that look, I had to go back to the highlights. I had to tone it down a bit and blend it in with the rest of the skin so it won't have that awkward yellowish look. And that's what you're going to see me do. For the most part, this portrait is done, and it only took me about 1 hour and 10 minutes to do it. I see a lot of artists on Instagram who are digital artists specifically, and when they post their process, they're working in very zoomed in from the beginning, and they wonder why it's going to take them 3 to 4 hours to do a simple portrait. And to me, that shows that they don't understand the fundamentals of painting. Because if you understood the planes of the face, you would understand that you could bring out a lot of depth and detail by working your way from the big shapes first, and then later on going in to refine, rather than doing the opposite. So if you're someone who has not tried this method of painting yet, I highly recommend it. Whether you're a traditional artist or you're a digital artist, this way of painting is much faster, it's more efficient, and you'll get more done in less time. This is the end. This is the final result. If you've enjoyed this video and you found it useful, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share the video. Until next time, I'm out.